What's going on, everybody? It's EricRayweather back here, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you one of the best under center passing plays in Madden 19 that can beat literally any type of coverage that your opponent can throw at you. So for today's playbook, kind of switching it up, trying to start showcasing some stuff in some different playbooks, because I know I typically show a lot of stuff out of the Patriots, Saints playbooks, which are the more popular playbooks. Today I am in the Dolphins playbook, and we're going to look at the single back bunch, and the play we're going to break down today is the halfback angle. Now, I'm sure that this is in at least a couple other playbooks. It's not the most common play in the game. It's not in a whole bunch of playbooks. Definitely Miami, but I'm not really too sure of any of the other ones. And the Miami playbook in general is actually pretty underrated, if you ask me. It's got some really unique stuff in it. It's got bunch tight end, which not a lot of playbooks have either. So it is a good playbook. Now, the really great thing about this play is this angle route by the halfback. This route beats so many different coverages in the game that it's kind of ridiculous. So I'm going to show you actually a couple different ways that I like to set this play up, because this play, even just stock, this play is good. Let's say, for example, like, we'll start kind of with the beginner stuff and then kind of work up to the more advanced stuff towards the middle of the end of the video. So just from a beginner standpoint, right, this halfback angle play, if you're playing the computer, for example, or you're playing against someone that doesn't like to really use or defend, if they like to use her on their D-line, this angle route to the halfback with no adjustments is open against any play, any type of coverage. You see there's a standard cover 3 wide open. I mean, it's like the Red Sea just parts for it. But even if you shade your defense underneath, right, so you see now with cover 3 we have the hard flats, which means also that these hook curl linebackers are supposed to play more aggressive underneath. But because so many routes are running deep on this play, even with an underneath shade, you can still hit this route for easy yards. Now you can see there we got about 7, whereas before we got like 20 yards. You won't get as much, but it's still wide open every time. Again, this is just like a super beginner version of the play. We're going to get more advanced in a minute. Here, cover 2, same thing. It's going to get wide open over the middle, because that mid-read zone, the middle linebacker, he just simply drops too far back. Even with an underneath shade, same thing. So here we have cover 2. We are going to shade down, and you can see that we've shaded down because we have the hard flats on the play. But even still, that middle linebacker is going to still drop too far back. And again, you see we got about 8 yards, kind of just went down there to avoid a hit. And then man defense, I mean, this route just absolutely cooks. No matter, I don't care if you have a cornerback on him, a linebacker. I don't care if you have somebody with good man coverage or bad man coverage. You see, that's Luke Kuechly right there. He just got dusted. We got hit with a block shed. We'll run it again, but you could see clearly just how wide open Kenyon Drake was running on the play. This angle route just beats anything. So essentially, you have to, I mean, look how open that is. That's just, I mean, and that's a Luke Kuechly, so that's like the best linebacker in the game, and he's getting dusted. So that's just a super beginner version of the play. If you're playing computer, you're playing franchise mode, or you're playing people that don't really use her on defense, they just kind of stick on the D-line, you can literally throw that route every play. Nothing's going to defend it. Now, obviously, if you're playing online and you're playing better competition is going to use that. So I'm going to show you a couple other different setups for the play, because you can't just rely, obviously, on that one route. So really, I'm just going to show you this one version of the play that I really like. So basically what I do is I will actually motion this guy over, and he turns into a drag. Now basically what's going to happen here is, against any type of zone or man, right? Man, the drag, and the running back will get open easy. And the corner route can also beat man very, very good as well. Against zone, if they don't shade underneath, you have the drag and you have the angle route. You have both every time. So the user has to pick one or the other. You can't use or both. If they shade down, then you have the corner route. Excuse me. You have the corner route wide open, but you can also quick pass the B streak down the middle of the field too. So let's show this. So first, standard cover 3. You're going to see, again, right here, wide open Kenyon Drake. And I mean, that's about 12 yards right there on what's essentially a check down route. Here, we're going to show regular cover 3 once again to show you the drag route here from the tight end we're motioning over. You could see they cross each other, and the ball got batted there, but you see just how wide open he was. We'll throw it one more time, though, just so you can see the run after the catch potential against cover 3. So like I said, they're going to cross each other. User has to kind of pick one or the other. You catch it, you go up the field. Okay, got about 7 yards. Got knocked backwards, but we got 7 yards on the forward progress. Easy money. Now, if they shade underneath, that's when you look for the deeper route. So shading underneath is really going to be worse for your opponent, because now you just have all these deeper routes. So corner route wide open, I mean, easy money. We'll take those 15 to 20 yards literally all day long. And then also you have a window to quick pass that streak to the B receiver. So again, cover 3 shade down, and you're gonna see as he gets about right here, you could pass that over the middle. Again, another huge play, almost score a touchdown from 30 yards out. So that's completely just destroying everything right there. Now switch up to a cover 2, you're gonna have the same thing. They don't shade down, you have the drag or you have the angle. You pick either or, whichever one you want to go to, whichever one they're not using. They can't use both because they're literally running in opposite directions. The user has to commit to one. You have to be a little bit patient, of course, and then you just pick whichever way they might try to bait you. A good player might try to bait you, fake one way, go the other way. Just stay patient, let them fully commit to one of the routes, and then you just hit the other route. Again, hitting the drag here against a cover 2, and we're picking up big yards because there's so many deep routes on this play that it forces the defense to have to play deeper. Let me just show you, for example, this is a cloud flat out here, which is supposed to kind of play intermediate between the hard flat where that drag is and then where the corner is. But because this corner is kind of stressing him to have to stay deep, he's nowhere even near the hard flat. And then we got even kind of like a makeshift, not an actual block, but like a glitchy block right there that kind of slowed him down a little bit, which actually helped us pick up, a couple extra yards. You can usually get anywhere from 5 to 7, but we got more about 10 because of the block that's set up there. Now, if they want to shade their cover 2 down, which would be really stupid, most people don't really do that. Maybe every once in a while they try to get a little risky and try to catch you off guard, but most people aren't going to shade their cover 2 underneath, because I mean, if they do that, they're just leaving stuff, I mean, just completely wide open to the point where, okay, we made one guy miss with a juke right there, we're scoring a touchdown from 30 yards out. Again, we'll shade it down and show you that you also have the streak over the middle as well. Pretty much same thing. You can see streak going over the middle, kind of jump in front of it, try to catch it, try to Y catch it or triangle catch it, just because it gives you a better animation. So if they shade down, I mean, it's like you got all that as well. And then again, if we're talking about man defense, so this is something else that's kind of good about the play. So if you man press, right, which if people do play man, a lot of times they like to press. Watch what happens to A in the man press. I mean, he got kind of caught there, but even still got wide open. I'm gonna go to the replay here and show you what happens when they press. Like, it kind of, the cornerbacks or like the defenders get glitched up. So the guy that's standing over Amendola, watch what happens. He bumps him, but then he takes the running back, because the running back, what happens is they switch, because the running back is kind of getting to the outside a little bit quicker than that corner route is, just to begin the play. So that defender thinks, okay, well, I'm just going to pass this guy off to Luke Kuechly, which he does. You see, he passes him off to Luke Kuechly there. But that actually helps the corner get more open, because the linebacker that he's getting passed off to is lined up to the inside of him. Now, yes, right here we ran into our own guy, but even still, this is one of those corner routes that cuts really sharp, really quick. Even with that, we still had really good separation there on the outside. But then what also happens is the angle route's still going to cook the cornerback here, because he's actually running the opposite way when the cut happens, and he gets completely left. And then you have the drag route wide open too. So man coverage, if they man press, they just leave everything else open. So we're going to actually go back to it just to show you some of the other routes, actually completing the routes here. So you saw, again, how the switch happens, and you see how open he got. Again, you could see, I mean, we got, I don't know what happened there. The ball got like thrown into the line. That time, that defender actually played that a little bit better. He was a little bit closer. But more times than not, he's going to completely dust his man, especially if you have a good route runner here. I mean, we're just getting like completely destroyed, because practice mode block shed just is, just go ahead and pinch the line. Hopefully that gives us more time. The block shed in practice mode is just so automatic that it's nothing like real game. Like, they shed instantly in practice. I mean, look at it. He's literally shedding the same way every time, the same amount of time every single time. Like, it's not, he's not being held more times than not. Like, he's coming free, like, at 2 seconds flat every time, which just isn't realistic. So I can't even get the pass off right now. But you see, again, look how wide open the drag is. And the angle route's clearly getting open, but the block shed just not allowing me to hit his route for whatever reason. So, as you can see, doesn't matter what type of covers they use. We'll actually go to cover 4 really quickly, too, because I'm sure some people are asking, what about cover 4? Because some people do like to run cover 4. You're going to get the same thing against a cover, literally the exact same thing against a cover 4. So, we go single back bunch, halfback angle, So if they run standard cover 4, again, if you want to run this standard against people that don't use it, the angle route gets open just like it did on all the other coverages as well. But with this little, I guess, more advanced setup, you could call it. Again, if they don't shade underneath, you hit either the drag or the angle underneath every single time. No, what's the word I'm looking for? No, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for here. No exceptions. You hit it every time if they don't shade underneath. Now, if they do shade underneath, here we go with the underneath shade with the hard flats. Again, corner out, wide open, because it runs so short, it's so quick, and it kind of like flattens out that it's wide open every single time. And then another thing you can do to mix in here is you have the halfback slash run. So what I would do is like playmaker this to the left with the clicking the right stick to the left, and then you can still do the same motion this guy over, kind of like motion snap it, and then you have a nice lane to run through, especially if they're expecting the pass. They see that motion, they're expecting the pass out of this. The only thing is, make sure you do not hold turbo until you are clear in the open field. When you're running through the offensive line, like the holes that they're setting, you just hold the left stick up. I did not touch turbo at any point of that play, because if you do, you will get block shedded most likely. So you do not want to hold turbo. You just hold this stick up and you get your 4, 5, 6 yards, and that is amazing. That's great. You do that every time you pull that play out. Do not hold turbo until you get into the open field where you actually have potential to break away from somebody. So that's definitely something to be sure that you remember, because otherwise the run play is going to get block shedded almost every time if you do hold the turbo too early. So that's just it right there. A really good underrated passing play. Not a lot of people use. Something different, something that really, you know, like I said, people aren't used to seeing things like this. They're not as good. They don't understand how to stop it because they're not used to going against it. So mix it into your offense. If you have a custom playbook, definitely add it to that as well. See what it can do for you. And as always, I will see you guys next time.